Green Revolution was a package which focused on the certain technological input in the form of high yielding variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, chemical pesticides, assured irrigation. So it increased the production and productivity, right? It increased the production and productivity, and it led to the marketable surplus of the agricultural produce. It led to the marketable surplus of the agricultural produce, right? Now this marketable surplus, it was available, but because of this marketable surplus, the supply increased and the demand do not increase suddenly. Because of this marketable surplus, the prices of agricultural produce came down drastically, and the farmers who produce these agricultural produce, they do not get much prices. They stopped producing the agricultural produce for a particular time, right? So in the absence of some minimum guaranteed price, this green revolution would not have been successful, because this green revolution can increase the production, but inside the green revolution, if we do not provide some minimum price, then the farmer will not be ready to produce the desired crop, right? Therefore, minimum guaranteed price was promised in the form of MSP. So this MSP will be ensuring some minimum remunerative price it will be promising some minimum remunerative price, so it will ensure minimum economic income of the farmers, and once minimum price is available, they will go for the production, so it will increase the food production and food security, right? And then through this, the government can also intervene in the cropping pattern. So the government can increase the MSP of any particular crop, and farmers will automatically grow that crop, and the share of that crop will automatically increase in the overall cropping pattern, right? So for example, initially when we were facing the shortage of food grain, we gave high MSP for the food grains, especially wheat, rice. Later on, in the recent decade, when we started feeling the shortage of pulses, we gave MSP for the pulses as well, right? So this also can support the desirable cropping pattern. So desirable cropping pattern can also be achieved with the help of this MSP mechanism, right? Now let us see the important features of the MSP. So it is a price at which the government purchases crop from the farmer, right? So how does this work? Let us see the mechanism, then we will read this. So farmer is producing the crop, and there are many costs. The costs can include the cost of agricultural input, for example seeds, fertilizer, pesticide, water, etc. Then it also employs some labor, and in the agricultural sector, the family work, the people work at the family level. So 3-4 people from the same family, they are working in the particular agricultural land. So these are the explicit cost. In agricultural input cost are the explicit cost. They are paid from the pocket, right? this family labor, this is not the explicit cost, this is the implied cost, or this is the opportunity cost, but still it is the cost. What is the meaning of opportunity cost? It means if these people would not have been working in the agriculture, then they would have been working somewhere else and they would have been getting some wages, they would have been earning something. So because they are working in the agriculture sector, in their like they are working for the cultivation of crop, they are losing their income which they could have earned if they would not have been working in the field, in the agriculture field. So that loss of income is also a kind of cost which is being incurred in the agricultural practices, right? So this farm family labor is also part of the cost. Apart from that, the farmer is also using some land and the farmer is also deploying some capital, है ना? तो आपने पढ़ा होगा फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. तो फैक्टर्स ऑफ प्रोडक्शन में क्या क्या होता है? देयर इज लैंड, देयर इज कैपिटल, देयर इज लेबर, देयर इज एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एंड देयर इज रॉ मटेरियल. तो एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप, रॉ मटेरियल, लेबर तो यहां पे कवर हो गया, लेकिन लैंड और कैपिटल इनकी भी तो कॉस्ट होती है. लैंड चाहे उसकी खुद की कॉस्ट हो, उसने लैंड इज ओन्ड बाय द फार्मर हिमसेल्फ. He is not paying any rent, but still this land is being used for the particular agricultural cultivation. So even the rent which would have been earned from this land, if this land would not have been used for cultivation, that rent should also be included, which is called implied rent. Similarly, the capital which is being used in this production, the interest on that capital should also be included in the cost, right? So देखा जाए तो there are four components of the cost. One is cost of agricultural input, second is cost of family labor, so implied cost, third is land, fourth is capital, है ना? तो ये चार cost होती हैं, ठीक है? Based upon for this cost, the agricultural production takes place and farmer goes to the market. Now suppose market price is rupees 800, which is very very less. So what government will do, government will basically this MSP is declared in advance. So if suppose for example the kharif season starts in the month of June, so this will be declared much in advance in the April-May, so that farmer can decide which crop they want to grow based upon the minimum support price they get. So the government will declare in advance that okay, I will be buying the produce at rupees 1000 rupees. If you get this 1000 rupees in the market, you can sell there. If you get 1100 in the market, you can sell there. If you get 1200 or more, you can sell over there, no issues. If you get rupees 800 in the market, you can come to me and I am ready to pay 1000 rupees. I am ready to pay this 1000 rupees to you. This is called MSP, right? Now how do we calculate this 1000 rupees? What is the basis of calculation of this 1000 rupees? So for calculating this 1000 rupees, what government does, government basically considers this item number 1 and item number 2, that is agricultural input cost and family labor cost, and over this they add 50% amount. So this is basically the MSP. So primarily this is the formula used for the calculation of MSP. So in the MSP they do not include land and capital, but they add 50% amount to cover up these type of cost, right? So now let us see more details so that you can get more clarity. So it is the price at which government purchases crops from the farmers. If there is a bumper harvest, then the fall in price cannot go below the MSP, है ना? तो अगर बम्पर हार्वेस्ट भी होती है तो भी द गवर्नमेंट कैन ऑलवेज गिव 1000 रुपीज टू द फार्मर. It acts as a guarantee price to protect farmers from distress sale. The MSP was first announced for wheat in 66-67. So it was announced at the time of Green Revolution itself. The objectives of MSP include number 1, to provide economic safety to the farmers in terms of stable remunerative price. Number 2, increase in food production. Number 3, influence the cropping pattern. Now there is an agency which recommends this price. So this is an expert agency which is having the representation from farmers also, government also, state government also, right? Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices. So this is the agency which recommends, it gives the advice, but ultimately who fixes the MSP? The MSP is fixed by the central government, right? So central government fixes the MSP and the advice is given by the Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices. While recommending the MSP, CACP considers various factors. It considers the demand and supply, cost of production, price trends, intercrop parity. Intercrop price parity means it will promote certain crops based upon like to ensure that there is a parity, right? So for example, it maintains the parity between rice and wheat. तो ऐसा नहीं होगा कि राइस का जो रेट है वो बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया तो people will shift to the rice. And minimum of 50% margin over the cost of production, जो हमने यहाँ पे बात की थी. This 50% will be added to the cost. The MSP is announced to the 1.5 times of the cost of production, and you can see this is the formula. A2 plus FL is the formula. This 1.5 time cost of production है ना. तो earlier this 1.5 time was only for few crops. In 2018 all the crops are now given MSP at 1.5 time of the cost of production है ना. So in this new formula, A2 plus FL, that is actual cost plus imputed value of family labor is there, and over this 50% is also covered up, right? MS Swaminathan has suggested this C2 formula. C2 formula says that not only the cost of input and the cost of family labor, but also the imputed cost of land and the interest on capital should be included. But as of now we have not included this. We have only included actual cost of input and the family labor imputed value, right? So this is how we calculate the MSP. Now as of now MSP is there for 22 crops, and there is a fair and remunerative price for the sugarcane. What is this FRP? I will tell you after some time. MSP for Toria, oilseeds and dehusked coconut is fixed on the basis of MSP of rapeseed, mustard and copra है ना. So the formula for these two crops is not A2 plus FL. For these two crops formula is basically is based upon the MSP of rapeseed, mustard and copra है ना. तो copra is basically the dried coconut है ना. Now you can see the list, 22 mandated MSP crops. So just observe this list. There are 14 crops in the Kharif, 6 in the Rabi, and then 2 crop, like 2 more crops are there. So we have paddy, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi, arhar. So we can see cereals, we can see pulses, we can see core cereals, all of them are there. Groundnut, so we can see oil seeds also, soya bean, sesame, nicer seeds, है ना. Then in the Rabi we have wheat, barley, gram, masoor, rapeseed, mustard, safflower. We can see copra and jute other than these, right? You do not need to remember the name. One question was asked in 2018 about which crops are covered, but that question was asked because in 2018 there was this change, this 1.5 time formula was introduced, right? So because of that, the name of crop were asked at that point of time. I do not think that you need to remember all these crop, but just have an overview. You can see this question. This question was asked in 2018. So in 2018, this MSP was made 2.5 time for all the Kharif crops. And in this list, 2, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 5, 6. These are the crops which are covered. And it was a current affair question. So you can see Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs actually announced. CACP is the advisory body. Ultimately, who decides? It is the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, right? In this case, the answer is option B. Areca nut is a, आपने सुना हो काजू होता है, कॉफी तो कॉफी के लिए कोई MSP होती नहीं है ना? Similarly, turmeric is a spice. There is no MSP for this also, है ना? So टर्मरिक के लिए तो है ही नहीं, इसको आप एलिमिनेट कर सकते हो, यहाँ पे ये एलिमिनेट कर सकते हो. एंड इफ यू नो एरिका नट इज ऑल्सो नॉट covered in the list, you can also eliminate this. So only option B is left, है ना? So even if you know that in this list, if you conceptualize this list, even if you don't remember exactly the names of all the crops in this list, you can conceptualize that we have cereal, we have coarse cereal, we have pulses, we have oil seeds. Apart from that, we have copra and jute, but definitely there is no other crop. Then automatically you can eliminate areca nut, coffee and turmeric, because these are altogether not covered in the list of MSP items, है ना? So this is how you can solve these type of question. So answer in this case is option B. Now coming to the fair and remunerative price. Fair and remunerative price. What is this fair and remunerative price? So MSP is given for the various crops, 22 crops. There is FRP, fair and remunerative price. This is given for the sugarcane. Only and only for the sugarcane. Sugarcane is also an essential commodity under the Essential Commodities Act. Now this fair and remunerative price, why this, like how this works? So central government, it suggests or it declares some minimum FRP, fair remunerative price, and the farmers, the sugarcane farmers, they sell their produce to the sugar factories or sugar mills at the FRP, right? In this case, the government do not procure. So in case of MSP, हमने MSP में देखा था, in case of MSP, the FCI, Food Corporation of India, on behalf of central government, it procures. Central government procure करती है. But in case of FRP, there is no procurement by the central government, by the FCI, anything. The sale is made directly from the farmer to the sugar mill. But this sugar mill is supposed to pay some minimum price to the farmer, right? Now question arises, why this sale is made directly from the farmer to the sugar mill? Why government is not buying this? Because this sugar cane is a perishable commodity, or more precisely, this is weight losing commodity. So it is directly processed by the sugar mill itself, and it is processed into the sugar. So the government will not procure, store and then give to the sugar mill. Rather, sugar mill will directly procure from the farmer itself. Right? So that is why central government do not procure directly as compared to the MSP. Right? Now, there are certain state government which are allowed to give more price than the FRP. So if some state government feels that the FRP which has been recommended by the central government is less, then it can recommend any amount more than FRP for its own state level mills. But this state level price, which is called state advised price, it cannot be less than FRP. It has to be more than FRP. So FRP is the minimum price which has to be paid in any case. Even the state government cannot reduce for its own state, right? So FRP is the minimum price. The state government can increase this. State government cannot decrease this. So please see over here, like MSP, there is another concept called FRP. However, MSP is price offered by the government, whereas FRP is the price fixed by the government but paid by the mill owners. So you have to understand, in case of MSP, fixing as well as payment, both is done by the government. Here, the payment is made by the mill owners. FRP is fixed by the government only for sugarcane because it is a weight losing commodity. It is the cane price announced by the central government on the basis of recommendations of CACP. So it is also recommended by the CACP only, but after consulting state government as well as the Sugar Industry Association. And the pricing of sugarcane is governed by Essential Commodities Act. State advised price can be more than the sugarcane price. This FRP. Now please see this question. This is the question, I think it was asked in 2004 or 2005, somewhere at that time. So what is the answer? So statement 1, union government fixes the statutory minimum price for sugarcane for each sugar season. Answer is yes. Statutory, why statutory? Because this is as per the Essential Commodities Act. That is why this is a statutory price. And this is set up for each sugar season. Number 2, sugar and sugarcane are essential commodities under the Essential Commodities Act. Yes. So answer is option C. Answer is option C. First of all, the agricultural marketing, right? So in India, agriculture is the state subject. So please mute yourself. Someone has not muted, so please mute yourself. in India, agriculture is a state subject, right? And agriculture marketing is also the state subject, right? Agriculture marketing is a state subject. Now, what is the APMC system? And before we discuss the APMC system, let us understand how the agricultural produce flow from the farmer. So suppose this is the agricultural field, the piece of land, and on this piece of land the farmer has harvested a crop. Suppose this is wheat. Now this will be shifted to go down. So for this we have Gramin Bhandaran Yojana, GBY, where the godowns have been constructed in the villages.
सर ये स्क्रीन नहीं आ रहा है सर. हेलो.
Yes. Yes, please. What is the question?
स्क्रीन हैव नॉट सेंड सर.
स्क्रीन नहीं आ रहा आपके सिस्टम पे?
नो आ रहा है.
आ रहा है ना?
मनीष का कुछ प्रॉब्लम है. यस सर.
ठीक है, मनीष आप चेक कर लो.
यस सर, देख लें.
ओके,
हो गया सर.
ठीक है. So Gramin Bhandaran Yojana, then there are cold storages, especially for the perishables like fruits and vegetables. After that there are APMC mandis, where the farmers can sell their produce, and we have the Food Corporation of India, who can also procure these produce, right? So there are some crops in which case the FCI can procure, right? And this APMC mandi is for all the crops. The farmer can go to the APMC mandi and sell the produce in this APMC mandi, right? After all this, if the goods are procured by the FCI, so FCI is a central body, central government organization. It's a PSU basically, and it issues the produce like wheat to the states, and then states distribute this produce through the fair price shops, FPS, to the identified beneficiaries. So this system is called public distribution system, PDS, and as of now this PDS comes under the National Food Security Act 2013. So we will discuss about the APMC, we will discuss about this procurement system. There is some subsidy which is given by the central government. Then we will discuss about PDS, then we will discuss about National Food Security Act. Apart from this, the farmer can also export, right? So for promoting the export, government came up with the agricultural export policy 2018. after this is purchased by the APMC or even from the FCI, this one way is that it can go also for the food processing. It can also go for the food processing, and for the food processing we have Pradhan Mantri Sampada Yojana, right? So that scheme is working. It is also possible that at times there are harvest losses, the production do not take place. So if that is the case, to protect the farmers from the harvest losses, we have agricultural insurance scheme, which include Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Primarily Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana is the scheme which takes care of the losses which are incurred to the farmer during the cultivation, right? So this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana also we will discuss. So this is the basically the basic flow through which this agricultural produce flows to the customer and to the other sectors, maybe for the food processing, maybe for the export, etc. So we will discuss each one of these dimensions in detail today. So first let us discuss about the APMC system. So APMC system, what is this APMC system? So basically in every district there is a agricultural produce marketing committee. What is the full form of APMC? Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee. So this is a system and we also called it APMC Mandi. So in every district there is one APMC Mandi. In this APMC Mandi we have commission agents or brokers. There is basic infrastructure, we have banks, we have standards and weighing system, then there are certification agencies, standard agencies, there is storage facility. So all these systems are available in the APMC Mandi, and this is again under the APMC committee. In the APMC committee, in the APMC Mandi, the commission agents, the state government officials like SDM, DM, or even the farmers are also the members. And these commission agents who are working over here, they have a license, and this license is not easily available, right? Now if any farmer, suppose for example we take the case of the district Ghaziabad. So in the district Ghaziabad, if there are 3 farmer A, B, C, all of them, any number of farmer in fact, so all of them will go to this APMC Mandi. This is mandatory. If they have to sell their produce, they have to sell only through APMC. They cannot sell without the APMC. So they cannot sell directly to the buyer, even if the buyer is available directly, right? What is the logic why this system was made initially? The system was made to protect the interest of farmers. Why to how it protects the interest of farmers? Because farmers are comparatively less aware about the prices. They are illiterate. They are located remotely. So many a times the buyer will manipulate the farmers in the prices as well as in the payment, right? So either they will give very less price, or even if they promise good price but they will not make the payment, or they will exploit otherwise. For example, in the form of they will say that okay, your quality is not that much good. So in one or other way they will exploit the farmer. So to protect the farmers from the exploitation, this system was made that all the farmers will sell to the APMC. In the APMC there are certification system, there are government officials, there are commission agents who are authorized to basically buy the produce at a certain price, right? So this system was made to protect the farmer's interest. But over a period of time, this system actually deteriorated. This system became a tool to exploit the farmers. How? Because these commission agents, as I told you, that they got the license, and these licenses were not openly available. So these commission agents, they made the cartel and they started exploiting the farmers. How? So they will manipulate in the prices. Again, the same thing. They started doing the same thing. Now, systematically, they will manipulate in the pricing. They will manipulate in the measurement, in the standard or quality. They will say that, okay, your product is not of good quality. So they will make a cartel, and all of them will ensure that the farmers are exploited, right? So because of this APMC system actually deteriorated. It became a tool of exploitation of farmer. Farmer cannot go anywhere else, and farmer are exploited because farmer cannot save their produce with themselves because they don't have proper storage facility. So suppose they harvest the crop today, they have to sell it in any way within a particular time, maybe even maybe in a week or month or 2 months. They cannot store their produce for the long time. So their bargaining power goes down. At times there are perishable items which needs to be sold within the same day. So they are left to the mercy of these commission agents, and these commission agents are in nexus with the state government officials also, and there is a corruption, right? They are charging huge commission also, right? So these are the agents and they are charging high level of commission. So there is Mandi Samiti commission which they are charging, and this commission is very, very high. The state government is also getting the taxes from these transactions which are happening over there. So state government also do not say anything because state government is getting a source of revenue, source of permanent revenue from these mandis, right? So to control all these aspects, in 2003 the APMC Model APMC Act 2003 was given. Model APMC Act 2003 was given by the central government. Now as I told you, agricultural marketing is a state subject. You can say, sir, if it is a state subject, then why central government is giving the act? How central government can implement the law? My answer is, central government can give the model law. It can suggest that this is the best law you should implement. But ultimately it is up to the state government whether they want to implement or they don't want to implement. It is up to the state government whether they want to get it passed in the state legislative assembly or they don't want to implement. So it is the call of state government, but definitely the central government will try to push it hard so that there is uniformity across the country, and whatever existing problems are there, they can be handled. So this Model APMC Act 2003, it brought out certain provisions which will free up the farmers from the clutches of these middlemen, these commission agents. Now let us see the important features of this Model APMC Act. So you can see Model APMC Act 2003. So it suggested, number 1, selling the products directly and not through regulated markets. So the farmers should be allowed to sell their products directly to the customer so that they always have a choice not to go to the APMC mandi and they are not exploited by the commission agents. Number 2, establishment of state level agricultural produce marketing standards bureau for grading, standardization and quality certification is compulsory, right? So at the state level there will be some standard body which will lay down the standard for the grading, standardization and quality certification, so that there is no manipulation by the commission agent as far as the quality certification is concerned. Number 3, promoting the public-private partnership in the management and development of agricultural marketing for post-harvest handling, cold storage, pre-cooling facilities and pack houses, etc. So we will also promote the private sector. We will also bring public-private partnership. So the involvement of the private sector was also introduced because in the APMC the infrastructure was of very quality. The public investment was very low. That is why this also got the place. Advocates contract farming. So contract farming means the buyer, for example, McDonald's is a fast food chain. It will sign a contract directly with the farmer to buy the maybe a potato, tomato or whatsoever it requires for its burgers. So it will buy directly from the farmer on a contract basis. It will sign a contract of 1 year, 2 year at certain quality with a certain price, and that kind of contract was allowed so that the farmers have a choice to sell to other than APMC also. It also provides for dispute resolution. So farmers will also get an opportunity to go to some authority in case they face some problem. It also publishes the data on arrivals and rates of agricultural produce brought into the market area for sale, right? So the data is available and the rates or the prices are also available so that the farmers have a proper information. They are well informed before they take any decision regarding the sale, right? Next, establishment of special markets for specific agricultural commodities, for instance perishable item. So we can establish the separate market for the fruits, we can establish a separate market for the vegetables, because the nature of these commodities is very different. They require different kind of storage facility, they require quick processing, they require quick decision making. So special markets can be established for them. New market establishment by farmers for their agricultural produce and registration of market functionaries instead of licensing. So this is very important. The system of registration instead of licensing. What is the meaning of registration and what is the meaning of licensing? So in case of license is basically supply based, supply driven, means only if the state government wants, then only someone can apply, right, and get the license, right? So it is at the wish of the state government. If it feels the number of commission agents are less, then it will give an opportunity to issue the license for the new people. However, registration is basically demand driven. It means anyone can come and fulfill some eligibility criteria, maybe in the form of some experience, maybe in the form of some infrastructure, and anyone can get registration, right? So this licensing system, this actually promoted the cartelization or groupism. It led to the cartels, but this registration will bring competitiveness, right? So this cartelization basically nothing is monopoly. So from monopoly to competitiveness, This will be the benefit of registration as compared to the licensing. Next, requires a single levy of market fee on the sale of notified agricultural commodities in any market area, right? So earlier, if the same produce was, suppose first time the wheat was sold in the Ghaziabad market, so Ghaziabad market will levy its own fees. The same product, suppose go to the other district, the second district will again charge the levy, and so on. Like, the levy will be charged n number of time. There is no upper limit. But now, once the market fee or this levy which is levied by the state government, once it is paid any time on any transaction, in the first transaction, it is not required to be paid next time. So this will actually reduce the cost of transaction, and this will encourage more and more transaction, which will ultimately benefit the farmer, right, to get the highest price. So this multiple levy of marketing fees was also eliminated. So these were the important benefits of the APMC Act 2003. So many states adopted this and some of the states did not adopt this, right? We are not supposed to know which state did or which state did not do. What is important for us is that this model APMC Act 2003 actually encourages the competitiveness, the private sector, it allows direct sale, and it gives an opportunity to the farmer to get the best price, right? So it actually tries to remove the deficiencies which were there in the old APMC Act. In 2017, again one more act was passed. The name of this act is State/Duty Agricultural Produce and Livestock Marketing. So one thing you can see, this is a combined act for the agricultural produce, that is the crops and the livestock, right? So here it has merged the livestock as well as the agricultural produce. So this brings the integration into the two markets. So in this act, the clusters will be established after certain distances, right? So after certain distance, and the distance need not be in the, like, there is no criteria like it should be in the same district or it should be in the different district. The prime thing is, it is based upon the local requirement, it is based upon the local produce. So depending upon which district is famous for what product, or maybe some districts are very good in the production, some districts are not so much good. So in one district there can be more than one market also, right? So it is cluster based approach. So in order to make model APMC Act 2003 more comprehensive and farmer friendly, this act was promulgated, and this is called APML Act 2017. The essence of this act is to provide complete freedom to the cultivators and livestock rearers to sell their produce, livestock and its product to buyers and through the marketing channel of their choice, right? So they are given the choice. Apart from the above, the model legal framework would attract the investment from the private sector. So even the private sector is encouraged to invest in the area. It also provides for declaration of whole state as the unified market, warehousing silos, cold storage as the market subyards. So the whole state can be declared as a unified market. So what does that mean? That means the person can go anywhere in state and sell at the same price. What is the meaning of unified market? That there is single time levy of fees. Secondly, the price remains same throughout the state. Warehousing silos, cold storage as a market subyard. It means the sale can directly happen from the warehouses, silos or cold storages. So even those areas can be declared as the market subyard, so that transactions can happen directly from there. rationalization of market fees and commission charges. As of now, Arunachal Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, they have adopted this act of 2017. So this is the latest act. There is one scheme, integrated scheme for the agricultural marketing. It was launched in 2014 and it has 6 sub schemes. One is agricultural marketing infrastructure. So here the purpose is to build storage facility, transportation facility and marketing facilities. Marketing research and information network, strengthening of AgMark grading facilities. We will study about the AgMark very soon. Then training, research and consultancy. Then agri-business development through venture capital assistance. So even private sector can invest into the agricultural businesses, agro-based businesses. And ENAM. ENAM is also part of this scheme. Now what is the meaning of ENAM? What is ENAM? So what is ENAM? ENAM is the market, electronic national agricultural market, right? So let us understand how does it work. So this ENAM is basically nothing but it's a portal. It's the online portal, right? And how does it work? It actually integrates the physical markets, physical APMC markets. So for example, we have a market in the Ghaziabad, we have market in the Bangalore, we have market in Hyderabad, we have market in Patna, we have market in Ludhiana. Similarly, there are 585 APMC markets throughout the India. So all of these markets, they are integrated with this portal. That means all the transactions of this market can happen online also. How does this function? So the buyers are also registered in this ENAM portal. The sellers can be the farmers, they can be commission agents also. Similarly, these buyers can be commission agents, they can be food processing companies, these buyers can be the exporters, etc. Even the government can also be the buyer, right? So any of them can be the buyer, and the sellers also registered in this portal. So suppose the seller has some product. For example, the seller has some rice, 100 kg rice. So this rice will be first graded and certified by the local agency, right? So suppose this rice seller is operating from Patna. So he is in the Patna. So in the local APMC market, he will get this rice certified and graded. He will get the certification that this rice belongs to this particular quality, and based upon that certificate, he will demand some minimum price, that okay, I can sell this rice at this minimum price, and he will show the certificate which he got from the local market, right? Once he shows the minimum sale price, the buyer, they will give their price, so there will be auction, right? And based upon this auction, whatever best price comes, suppose minimum price is 100 rupees, so there are different cases possible. In the case A, best price is 120 rupees, so seller will immediately execute this ENAM system will automatically execute the transaction, and the payment will be made online from the buyer to the seller, right? So this seller, he has already the information of his bank account uploaded on the portal, and the buyer also has linked the bank account. So once the buyer agrees to buy and seller agrees to sell, the transaction will be executed, the money will be shifted from buyer to seller, and this rice, 100 kilo rice, this will belong to buyer. Now this buyer, he can do two things. Either he can get the physical delivery, he can ask for a physical delivery, right? Or alternatively, he can resell this product to the another buyer. So instead of getting the delivery, he will say, you keep this product there with yourself and I will give you some storage charges and you deliver only when I say that this needs to be delivered. Again, the buyer will sell the product to the another person. So this resale can happen. The transaction can be physical or it can be just transaction of money, and physical delivery can be postponed. So this is how this e-NAM works. Now what are the benefits as compared to the APMC? What are the benefits? Who will tell me? कौन बताएगा क्या क्या benefit है as compared to the APMC?
Hello.
हाँ जी बताइए.
Don't go to market. ऑनलाइन सर्विस होगी सर.
मार्केट जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. ओके.
और सर मनी का बार्गेन वो पता करने की सिस्टम नहीं है. ऑनलाइन हमको अच्छा प्राइस मिलेगा.
प्राइस इज ओपनली अवेलेबल. यस, प्राइस इज ओपनली अवेलेबल. देयर इज नो मैनिपुलेशन ऑफ प्राइस पॉसिबल.
यस सर, जो बेस्ट प्राइस जो देगा उसको हम सप्लाई करेंगे.
एग्जैक्टली. सो देयर इज अ स्पिरिट ऑफ कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस. द सेलर हैज एक्सेस टू ऑल इंडिया मार्केट. ऑल इंडिया में कौन कौन बायर है ना, एंड द बायर ऑल्सो हैज द एक्सेस टू द ऑल इंडिया सेलर्स.
यस सर.
है ना. सो देयर इज इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ ऑल द एपीएमसी टुगेदर.
और इंस्टेंट मनी गेटिंग.
इंस्टेंट पेमेंट हो जाएगा. बिल्कुल हो जाएगा. यस. e-NAM. ठीक है जी. सो दीज आर द बेनिफिट्स ऑफ e-NAM. नाउ लेट अस सी. इट्स ए पैन इंडिया इलेक्ट्रॉनिक ट्रेडिंग पोर्टल. है ना. तो ये क्या है? e-NAM इज ए, इट्स नॉट अ सेपरेट मार्केट, इट इज ए पोर्टल, इट्स ए एग्रीगेटर. है ना. सो आप कॉन्सेप्ट जानते हैं, ओला, है ना, जोमेटो, ऑल दीज आर द एग्रीगेटर्स. सो दिस e-NAM इज ऑल्सो द एग्रीगेटर ऑफ द APMC मार्केट्स, which links the existing APMC mandis to build a unified national market for agricultural commodities. Its features include: number 1, it facilitates a common platform for trading. Number 2, single window service for all APMC related information and services. It's a virtual market but has a physical at the back end. है ना. तो वैसे पोर्टल है सिर्फ, लेकिन बैक एंड में एक फिजिकल मार्केट ऑलरेडी वर्क कर रही है. इट इंक्रीजेज द चॉइस ऑफ फार्मर फॉर हिज प्रोड्यूस. द फार्मर में चूज टू एक्सेप्ट आइदर द लोकल ऑफर और द ऑनलाइन ऑफर. तो फार्मर के पास में चॉइस है, वो चाहे तो लोकल मार्केट में सेल कर दे, चाहे तो वो जाकर के ऑनलाइन सेल कर दे. द ट्रांजेक्शंस आर ऑन द बुक्स ऑफ लोकल मंडी एंड हेंस मंडी ऑल्सो कंटिन्यूज टू गेट द ट्रांजेक्शन फीस. तो जो लोकल मंडी होती है उसको भी ट्रांजेक्शन फीस मिल जाती है. Now this is important for the prelims. Small Farmers Agri Business Consortium. It operates the NAM as the implementing agency. So this question can be asked in the examination, in the prelims exam, that which agency operates the NAM. The name of agency is Small Farmers Agri Business Consortium. And there are 585 markets where this NAM is being deployed. So 585 markets have been covered already by this system. So you can see over here this picture. So we can see the seller. The seller can be farmer, trader, commission agent. Then there is buyer. Buyer quotes the price. Seller can accept the price, and once both the price match, the trading happens, settlement is done. through the goods delivery, or maybe even without the goods delivery, the money is deposited, and then this APMC channel partner seller facilitation, they are also existing. There is quality certification by the identified labs at the local level, है ना? So this is how this national agriculture market portal works. Now there is a export policy which has been introduced in 2018. So there are only few points we need to see over here. Not very important, but just we can see a quick glance at a quick view. The aim is to double the exports from the present $30 billion to $60 billion by 2022 and reach $100 billion in the next few years. We want to diversify the market, and we want to promote the non-traditional agricultural products, which include indigenous, organic, ethnic, traditional and non-traditional agri-export products. And then we also want to enhance market access by minimizing the barriers, dealing with the sanitary and phytosanitary issues, right? So we will also discuss about WTO and the agreement on agriculture when we discuss the chapter of international organizations. So that thing we will discuss separately. It will benefit the farmer, it will integrate the market of India. Then there are various elements, strategic as well as operational. We will bring out different policy measures, infrastructure and logistic support. Holistic support will be provided. State government will increase their involvement at the operational level. Clusters will be formed. Value added exports will be promoted. Brand India will be promoted. Private sector will be invited. Quality will be maintained. Research development will be happening. So these are the important points of the agricultural export policy. So if we see factually only one thing is there, that it wants to double the export by 2022, है ना? बाकी इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा important कुछ है नहीं prelims के लिए, ठीक है? Apart from that, there is one more institution which is working these days. This is called Farmer Producer Organization, FPO, right? So these FPOs, they are basically platform where the farmers can come together. So suppose these are multiple farmers. They form some organization which is called FPO, and they can collectively produce, collectively sell, store. The benefit is the benefits of economies of scale. Economies of scale means when you produce something in big quantity, your cost of production comes down. Similarly, their bargaining power is also enhanced, right? And it also promotes land consolidation, because as we discussed that the small and marginal land holding is very, very high. So in India, this farmer producer organization will be helping a lot. So the primary producers, which include farmers, milk producers, fishermen, weavers, rural artisans, craftsmen, all of them can come together. And what will be their legal form? उनकी legal form क्या होगी? तो legal form के लिए हो सकता है they register as a producer company under the Companies Act. They register as the cooperative society under the State Society Cooperative Society Act. So they can adopt any legal form for the sharing of profits or benefit, right? So the main purpose is to promote the cooperation among the small farmers and get the mutual benefit and earn profit at a collective level, right? सबसे important बात जो prelims के लिए है, prelims के लिए important है कि it can take any form. It can take producer, it can become a company, it can become a cooperative society, it can take any form. This is important. So in the prelims they can ask that farmer producer organization can be registered only as a company or only as a cooperative society. So at that point of time, you need to know that it can take any legal form. It can take any legal form. Apart from that, there are small other initiatives. One is this e-recom portal, which brings together the farmers, public sector undertakings, civil supplies agencies, for example, district food supply agency, and the buyers on the single platform to ease the selling and buying process of the agriculture products. The farmers will be paid through directly into the bank account. So it is similar to eNAM only. But here these PSUs and civil supplies agencies also participate. Then there is these grams, which were introduced in I think 17 or 18. So these are Gramin retail agricultural market, right? So these are basically रूरल हार्ट्स, जो आप समझते हो ना वीकली मार्केट लगती हैं, जो वीकली मार्केट होती हैं, उनके अंदर हमें जो उनका इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है उसको डेवलप करना है. सो द एग्जिस्टिंग वीकली मार्केट, द रिटेल मार्केट, जो रिटेल मार्केट होती है ना, सो एपीएमसी इज एट द होलसेल लेवल. एपीएमसी जो हमने पढ़ा वो होलसेल लेवल पर है, लेकिन ये जो ग्राम्स है, दिस इज एट द रिटेल लेवल, राइट. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल वीकली मार्केट है ना, so this will be promoting the infrastructure of those markets. Then we have this agricultural market information network portal. So this is providing the information, right? So this is G2C e-governance portal that caters to the needs of various stakeholders such as farmers, industry, policymakers and academic institutions by providing different marketing information, right? So G2C means government to citizen, and it provides web-based information flow. So it talks about the data of prices, etc. So this will act as a platform for providing authentic information, right? So we have an e-recom portal, we have grams, and we have this information network, AgMarkNet portal, right? Now even in this process of sale, some certifications are very, very important. So there are some certification agencies, some certification standards. One is the Bureau of Indian Standard, BIS, and this is the logo of BIS. So this is a national level body, and it works under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So this is very important. You must know this, right? You must know this Bureau of Indian Standards works under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, right? So they can ask whether this works in the Ministry of Finance or it works in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. No, it do not work in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It works in the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Now what are the important functions? It formulates the standards of various, even it also includes the industrial products. So even if it includes the industrial product, but still it is under the Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Why it has been put in this ministry? Because it deals with the consumer affairs, and these standards are basically for protecting the consumer's interest. It is for the protection of consumer interest. Therefore it has been kept under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, right? Product certification scheme for ensuring compliance to the Indian standards. So it also gives this ISI mark, Indian Standard mark. There is a separate certification for the goods manufactured outside India, and the hallmarking is also given by this agency only. So you must have heard about the hologram, which is pasted on the gold items. So that is also given by the Bureau of Indian Standard, right? So it comes under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. It also deals with the standards of the industrial products, right? And it also deals with the hallmarking which are used in the jewelry products. So you must know these three important points in this about this agency. The next agency is AgMark. Not, this is not agency, this is basically the certification system. This is the logo of AgMark, and this is for the agricultural products only, right? Ag means agricultural, mark means it's a symbol, and it assures that agricultural produce has been has a particular standard as approved by the Directorate of Marketing and Inspection, and its head office in the Faizabad, Haryana, and it is legally enforced, right? So it is a statutory mark. It is a statutory mark. There is a law, a special law, and the present AgMark standard covers the quality guidelines for 222 different commodities, which may include pulses, cereals, essential oils, vegetable oils, fruits and vegetables, semi-processed products like vermicelli, right? So all these items can carry the AgMark, right? And it is under the law, central law. Then we have FPO mark. FPO mark. So it is a certification which is mandatory for processed fruit products which are sold in different forms, maybe in the form of packaged fruit beverages, fruit jams, crushes, squashes, pickles, dehydrated fruit products, fruit extracts, and it is under the Food Safety and Standards Act. So there can be a question, under which act this FPO mark is levied. So the name of the act under which this FPO mark is levied is Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006. And what does this mark indicate? So it indicates the hygiene of the product. Agriculture and the allied sector. We always hear agriculture and allied sector. What is the meaning of agriculture and the allied sector? So for that, you see this picture. In this image, I have taken this image from the economic survey. In the economic survey, you can find they have given these four sub areas: the crop, livestock, forestry and logging, and fishing, right? So share of crop, this is basically agriculture, right? Livestock, forestry and logging, and fisheries, these are the allied sectors, right? So this is the meaning of agriculture and the allied sector. So livestock, that includes dairying, it includes piggeries, it includes your goatry, it includes your this white revolution, egg, etc., right? Then in the forestry and logging you can understand, and fishing you can understand. Now if we see how much is the contribution of agriculture sector, agriculture and allied, how much is the contribution? So contribution is 16.5% in 2019-20. So this is the contribution in the GVA, gross value added. If we see, this contribution has been declining from 18.2% to 17.7%, then it is increasing, then coming down, then increasing, right? So if in the question, in the examination you find the share of agriculture sector has been continuously declining in the last 10 years, so answer will be no. So there is a fluctuation, sometime up, sometime down. Although overall there is a decline in the long term from 18.2 to 16.5, there is a decline, but if we see year by year, there is a fluctuating pattern. The pattern is not consistent decline, right? So this kind of question can be asked further. Now inside the agriculture and allied, how much is the share of different sectors? So the cropping share, so the latest data is available from the 17-18 only. So in that data, out of 17.2, 10% share belongs to the crop, 4.9% belongs to the livestock, 1.2% belong to the forestry and logging, and 1.1% belong to the share of fisheries. So highest share is of crop, second highest share is of livestock. You just remember two areas. Highest share inside the agriculture and allied belongs to the crop, and second highest share belongs to the livestock. Now you will see one more pattern. The share of crop has been consistently declining inside the agriculture. The share of crop has been consistently declining. However, the share of livestock has been consistently increasing. Can you see? The share of livestock has been consistently increasing. So these two patterns you should also understand, you should also remember. It indicates that role of livestock sector is increasing in India. Why is that? One reason is the choice of people in selecting the food is changing. Now people are becoming more conscious for the nutrition. They are demanding more nutritious food, which includes dairy products. The government is also supporting dairy sector through various schemes, through various government initiatives, right? So these are the important patterns you can find from this image. So this is now coming to the current scenario of Indian agriculture, and all these data I have taken from the economic survey. Some data is not directly from the agriculture from the economic survey, but from other authentic document of the government only, right? So you will also find those things, right? Now first, the share of agriculture and allied sector in the GVA of the country at current prices is declining from 18.2% in 14-15 to 16.5% in 19-20, right? So this is declining, and this has been declined since independence. At the time of independence, this share was approximately 70% of GDP. So from 70% to 16.5%, the share of agriculture sector in the GV has been declining. Now the question is, this decline in agriculture share is a good thing? Is it desirable or not? What does it indicate? So in the overall context of economy, this is a good thing. The reducing share of agriculture sector is a good indicator. It indicates that the share of secondary and tertiary sector, the share of industry and service sector is increasing, which indicates the economy is moving from less developing country to more developing country. So economy is on the path of development, right? When the economy is moving from the primary sector to the secondary and to the tertiary, it indicates that economy is actually in the right direction, right? So overall, absolutely, if we see in the absolute term, agriculture production has increased, but if we see in terms of the share in the GVA, the share of agriculture has declined, right? Second thing is, the decline in share is also because of some lacunas in the agriculture sector. We could not bring huge technological innovations in the agriculture sector. Although we successfully implemented the green revolution, and there was a lot of improvement in the food grain production, but still we still miss the latest technologies as compared to the other developing and the developed countries, right? So this share can be increased, but increase in share should not be just to increase the share, right? The increase in share should be by increasing the efficiency, increasing the agriculture productivity, increasing the productivity per hectare, and that is possible with the help of technology, right? So answer to the question whether decline in the agriculture sector share is good or not, the answer is it is good, and at the same time the absolute, it is good, but only when the absolute production is not declined. The current scenario of Indian agriculture. So the share of agriculture and allied sector has been declining, and this is 16.5% in the 1920, and this share is declining on account of relatively higher growth of performance of non-agricultural sectors, that means industry and service sector. So उनकी ग्रोथ अच्छी हो रही है, और एग्रीकल्चर की ग्रोथ, एग्रीकल्चर का जो शेयर है वो कम हो गया है. The total workforce in agriculture and allied sector was 73.9% of total working population in 1951. So in 1951, agriculture and allied sector gave the job to 73% people, 73.9% people, and now 54.6% people are dependent. So the number of people who are dependent on the agriculture and allied sector have declined, but correspondingly the share has declined at a much more higher rate, right? So जो शेयर है एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर का वो ज़्यादा फास्टली आपका कम हुआ है, और जो जॉब्स हैं वो कम हुई है. मीन्स the share of agriculture sector has fallen drastically, but the number of people who are dependent on the agriculture sector have not decreased so fast. It indicates that the economy has not created so many number of jobs in the industry and the service sector. So that is called jobless growth. That is called jobless growth, right? Now 82% of the farmers are still small and marginal farmers. So majority of the farmers are small and marginal. And now see this question, please. Read this question. This question came in 2017. So I suppose that you have read other chapters also apart from the agriculture sector. If you read this question carefully, you can solve the question. So what is the answer? Everyone please tell what is your answer. Sorry? Answer is C. Okay. So anyone other than C? D आप बता रहे हो? D for Bombay. Okay, good. So in this case the answer is, so answer देखने से पहले हम डिस्कस कर लेते हैं. The share of agriculture in GDP has increased enormously. The answer is no. It is a wrong statement. If we eliminate this statement, then we can eliminate option A and option D, right? So we are left with option B and option C. So what is the difference in both the options? 2 and 3 are common. So even if we don't read the 2 and 3, still answer can be given, but still we will read the option 2 and 3. Share of India's exports in world trade increased. Yes, the share has increased in the world trade. This fact we can see in the economic survey, external sector chapter. FDI inflows increased. Yes, it increased. India's foreign exchange reserve increased enormously. Yes, it has increased, right? So if you see the previous year pattern in the economic survey, every year they tell what is the foreign exchange reserve. So if you read the economic survey carefully, you will find that this statement is also correct. So answer is option B, right? So this is more of a factual question. All of the 4 statements are pattern based, factual, but these pattern you will identify in the economic survey, and this is how you can solve such type of question, right? So answer is option B. Now if we see land use pattern, इंडिया में लैंड यूज पैटर्न क्या है ना, कितना एरिया. तो इन इंडिया नेट सोन एरिया इज 43%. नाउ व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ नेट सोन एरिया एंड हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द gross cropped area. So there is gross cropped area, which is also called total area sown, and this is basically, for example, this is the agricultural field, and this agricultural field has been like this is the 1 hectare of agricultural field, and this has been cropped twice, means the crop has been grown 2 times in the year. So gross cropped area will be 2 hectares, है ना, and the net sown area will be 1 hectare, right? So gross cropped area is if the crop is grown more than once, so the area will be counted more than once, and net sown area is the area sown with the crops but counted only once. So whether the crop has been grown 1 time or more than 1 time, in both the cases it will be counted only once, as compared to the gross cropped area or total sown area where the counting will be doubled if more than 1 time crop has been grown, right? So this is the difference between the two. And forest area is 23%, which we are trying to increase to 33% by the forest policy, right? Pastures and groves are 4% only. Cultivable waste means the land which can be cultivated but is waste is 4%, and fallow land is 9.6%. The fallow land is farmland that has no crops on it, usually for a year, to recover its fertility to grow crops. So the land has been kept idle so that it can regain its fertility over a period of time, and after that it can be utilized for the purpose of cropping. So this is the overall pattern. So from this you can expect some question maybe on the forest area, maybe on the net sown area, or maybe on the fallow land, how much is the percentage. Now coming to the pattern of agricultural land holding. So this pattern is as per the agricultural census 2015-16, and this data was given in the economic survey last year as well as in the current year also. So the operational holdings have increased to 14.6 crore in 15-16 from 13.8 crore, and the share of marginal holding is less than 1 hectare is total in the total operational holding is increased, right? So what is the meaning of holding? Holding basically means the number of people who are the owners of the land, the piece of land, है ना? So this increase in the operational holding actually tells that the same land has been divided among more number of people, and this is because of the patriarchal laws, because of the inheritance, basically because of the inheritance laws. So the same land has now been divided into under the ownership of more number of people. This is clear from this data that in 2011 there were 13.8 crore owners, now we have 14.6 crore owners. And if the same land is divided into more number of people, definitely the small holding and the marginal holding will increase, right? So share of marginal holding less than 1 hectare in the total operational holding have increased, and the share of small holding 1 hectare to 2 hectare have decreased. Why it has decreased? Because of its shift into the small and marginal holding, है ना? So for example, if earlier there was 2 hectare land with someone, now this land has been divided into 3 sons, so each one of them have less than 1 hectare. So now those holdings are converted from small holding to the marginal holding, right? So this is not a good thing because it reduces the productivity of land. That is why the government is talking about the concept of land banks, farmer producer organizations, cooperative farming, contract farming, so that more and more people can club their land and the productivity of land can be enhanced. Large holdings above 4 hectare have decreased, right? So again, this decrease in the large holding again indicates that the same land has been divided into more number of people, right? So here, for your exam purpose, what is important is, what is the meaning of marginal holding? Less than 1 hectare. What is the meaning of small holding? 1 hectare to 2 hectare. What is the meaning of large holding? Above 4 hectare, right? So the area operated under the marginal and small holding increased to 47.4%, and area under that of large holding decreased to 20%. So there is a drastic change. Now, what is the role of India in the world cropping pattern? The overall some of the important facts, right? So the share of India in the pulse production is 25%, right? The share of rice production is 22%. That means we are the third highest producer, and we are the largest producer in the pulses. The share of wheat is 13%, and the share of cotton is 25%. In the cotton, we are second highest exporter of the cotton, right? So we are first in the pulses and third largest in the rice. These are the 2 points you should remember. Now, in terms of yield, in terms of the agriculture productivity, we are not doing much good. Our condition is not good as far as the yield is concerned. So although India ranks third in the production of rice, its yield is lower than Brazil, China and the United States, right? The same trend is observed for the pulses, where it is the second highest producer. Okay, so there is a contradiction. In the first point we are saying highest for any country 25%, and okay, and here we are saying second highest producer. Okay, there is some factual contradiction. I need to check it from the authentic sources. I missed this point, really sorry for this, but I will check it out and will tell you. Now see this question, please see this question. This is the question of 2018. Take 1 minute and use your common sense, use the knowledge of other subject also, polity, geography, right? And I am confident that you can solve, and don't refer to the answer given in the handout. So what is the answer? Who would like to give the answer? Sorry? C for cat. कौन कौन बोल रहा है? Manish is saying, Venkatesh is saying. And how do you identify this answer? Okay. Yeah, exactly. So the second statement, out of the total agricultural households in the country, a little over 60% belong to the OBC, right? So if we go by the if we know about the census of India, we have an idea about how much OBCs we have. So we don't have more than 60% OBCs, right? OBCs are mostly in the rural area only, so their percentage can be more, but it is like their share cannot be 60% in any case, right? So although this is a very factual question, but still if you are clear that this second statement is wrong, then you can easily find the answer. The option C is the answer, right? Again, this is a very factual question. In the examination hall, it all depends upon your choice. At times it is also possible that any statement which is clearly looking out to be very very clear that it is right or wrong, but still it might be wrong. But we have to take such kind of risk in the examination. हमारे पास में और कोई choice नहीं है, इस तरह का रिस्क तो हमें लेना ही पड़ता है ना? So in this, let us read the first statement. Rajasthan has the highest percentage share of agricultural household among its rural household. And the third one is in the Kerala, little over 60% of the agricultural household reported to have received maximum income from the sources other than agricultural activities, right? So this is the current affair question which was in news from the NSSO 17th round situation assessment survey. But these are very minute surveys, and even if you are covering the economics current affairs, still you might miss this kind of survey. But in the examination, you should not lose heart. Don't stop reading the question just by looking at that, okay, this is the NSSO, I have not read this. You should not stop yourself. You should read the entire question, try to use your common sense. And my own experience, I have qualified the prelims exam 5 times. My own experience is that usually I will give at least 70% answer right in such cases. 30% I will be mistaken. But 70% right, 30% mistake, that means I have a net gain of more than 50%. So my overall score in the prelims is always increased because of such kind of risk, है ना? तो इस तरह के रिस्क आपको लेने हैं, डरना नहीं ऐसे रिस्क से. गलती भी होगी, लेकिन गलती का चांस आपको कम करना है. और वो कैसे होगा? That is possible when you practice more and more questions in your test paper. So that practice you should do in advance. So answer here is option C. Now these are some basics. So take 1 minute and read this slide. और मैं आपको एक चीज़ बताना चाहता हूँ कि द सोर्सेज, इंफॉर्मेशन, बुक्स, वो सब ज़्यादातर स्टूडेंट के पास में सेम ही होता है. यानी कि जो लोग क्वालिफाई कर रहे हैं, जो लोग क्वालिफाई नहीं कर रहे हैं, उनके बीच में ज़्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं होता है ना. और ये जो क्वेश्चन हमने एनएसएसओ वाला किया, ये सब लोगों को डिफिकल्ट भी लग सकता है. काफ़ी लोगों ने इसको प्रैक्टिस भी किया होगा, काफ़ी लोगों ने इसको मार्क भी किया होगा, काफ़ी लोगों ने इसको करेक्ट भी किया होगा, है ना. सो व्हाट आई वांट टू इंडिकेट इज दैट you will never find the perfect number of sources for your examination, right? You will never be satisfied with the books and material which you have in your hand, because you will always feel that something or the other is missing in your notes. But if you have the credible source, then you can solve maximum number of questions. Again, you have to score just 50%, 55% maximum, 55% in your prelims. You don't need to score 100% in the prelims. So let us see these crops based on season. Kharif crop which is sown in the monsoon, right? जिसको मानसून में लगाया जाता है, and this is grown in the monsoon time from June to October. Sowing season is June, July, the start of the monsoon, and harvesting is done at the end of the monsoon, that is September, October. Majority of the crop include rice, maize, millets, pea and cotton. Rabi, which is sown in the starting of winter or spring, and grown season is October to April, and harvesting is done in the March and April. Majority of the crop primarily includes this mustard and sunflower. In India, mustard and sunflower. Then we have Jayad. This Jayad is a summer crop from March to June. So this is basically between Rabi and Kharif. And here we grow seasonal fruits and vegetables. So these are the three important cropping seasons, or three crop based on the three categories of crop based upon the seasons. Now, these are some of the patterns. First of all, what is the meaning of cropping pattern? Cropping pattern means the portion of an area under different crops at a point of time. So for example, this is the total area under cultivation. In the total area, we have 4 different crops. One crop is occupying 10% share, another is occupying 40%, one is occupying 35%, and one is occupying 15%. So this share of different crop is visible in this figure. So this indicates the cropping pattern, that how much share is occupied by a particular crop in the overall crop, basically the cultivable area, right? So it is the portion of area under different crops at a point of time. Now there are some important facts about the cropping pattern in India. So we can compare what was the position at the time of independence and the position right now. In 1950-51, the total area under the cereals was around 80% of the total area under the food grains. So food grain का 80% वो cereal के अंदर था. In 1819 it has been reduced to 76.6%. In 1950-51, the total area under the pulses was 20% of the total area under the food grain. So 80% आपका कहाँ पे था? Food grain में था. तो cereal के अंदर 2 classification you will find. One is the food grain, which occupied 80%, and the second was cereal, which occupied in the overall food grain you will find cereals and pulses. Cereals, it was 80% and it was 20%, and now this has been changed to 76.6% and 23.4%. So the share of pulses has increased because the government has increased its focus on the pulses. Pulses are nutritious, so the share of pulses in the overall food grain has increased. You should remember this is an important pattern. Now total area under the rice was around 32% of the total area of food grains in 50-51. In 1819 this has been increased. Again, why this has been increased? Because of different initiatives taken by the government in the form of green evolution, which actually focused upon 2 major crops, rice and the wheat. So the share of rice has increased in the total area under cultivation in the food grain. Similarly, in the wheat also, it was 10% at the time of independence. In 1819, it has also increased to 23.5%. So both rice as well as the wheat, the share of both has increased in the total area under the food grains, right? So this means that inside the cereal, the rice and the wheat have increased. It means there are some other cereals which have actually decreased, जिनका share कम हो गया है. So case of coarse cereals is however disappointing. Area under the jowar, bajra, maize has fallen from around 29% in 50-51 to around 16% of the total area of food grain, है ना? तो सीरियल्स का तो बढ़ा, सीरियल्स के अंदर आपका राइस और व्हीट का तो बढ़ गया, और कोर सीरियल्स का आपका कम हो गया, है ना। क्यों कम हो गया? व्हाट इज द रीजन? तो रीजंस आर मैनी. फॉर एग्जांपल दिस rice and wheat, they got the benefit of green revolution, and these core cereals, they became less in demand in the urban area. Their demand is actually locally specific. They could not be spread to the entire India, and they also did not get any other support. For example, the support in the form of minimum support price, which were available for the rice and wheat. Also, people, as far as like taste preferences are concerned, the rice and wheat is more preferred by the people, and it is easy to cook also. Jowar bajra mein, they are not easy to cook, है ना, they are not easy to cook. So the people also prefer this rice and wheat because of easiness of cooking, है ना. Now the area under the oil seeds, area under the oil seeds has increased from around 11 million hectare in 50-51 to around 25.5 million hectare in 2018-19. Among the commercial crops, area under three, that is the sugarcane, cotton and jute has increased, है ना. तो sugarcane, cotton and jute, their area has increased. Rain-fed agriculture in India accounts for almost 60% of the total cropped area. So the area which are dependent on the rain for their irrigation, that area is more than 60%. That is, our majority of the total cropped area is also under rain fed. It is not under the systematic irrigation as of now. Apart from that, if we see the area under cultivation, in the food grains, so total area under the rice is 19%, the total area under the wheat is 14%, and this is the percentage of total area under cultivation, है ना. So अभी यहाँ पे हमने जो यहाँ पे देखा था कि राइस का 35.4 है. So this is the area of the total food grain production, है ना. फूड ग्रेन का जो एरिया है उसका 35% है ना. So this is the area of food grain production, but here this 19% or 14%, it indicate total area under cultivation in India, है ना. तो total area अगर 100 है, उसका 19% is under rice and 14% is under wheat. So rice cultivable area is more than wheat. Core cereal, jowar is highest. Sorry, not jowar, barley is highest, and then we have pulses, which have these shares. Then we have other crops like oil seeds, which include groundnut, soybean, rapeseed, mustard, sesame. Their area under cultivation is 20%. And then we have sugarcane and we have cotton. Now, as far as wheat production is concerned, we are the second largest producer of wheat in the world, and there are three major wheat growing states in India: Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Madhya Pradesh. Now, if we see different patterns, the production of wheat is increasing in the last 3 years. The absolute production, है ना. तो 98.5, then 99.9, then 102.2. So absolutely the production is increasing. The gross area under wheat production is you can see from 30.8 to 29.7 to 29.1. It is declining. So gross area under the wheat cultivation is declining. Yield means the productivity per hectare. It is increasing. So earlier it was 3145 kilogram per hectare, then 3368 kilogram per hectare, then 3507 kilogram per hectare. So yield is increasing, right? So production and productivity are increasing and the area is decreasing, which is a good thing, है ना. Which is a good thing, that in the less area now we are able to cultivate more amount of wheat, right? So this is a good thing. So you should remember these patterns. Now please see this question and derive the answer. This is the question of 2019. हाँ जी सूरजीत, आप कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं? क्या हो रहा है? सॉरी, आपकी वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आ रही मुझे. आंसर इज ए. ओके, गुड. और बताइए एनीवन एल्स, व्हाट इज आंसर? सो मनीष, योर आंसर इज ए. सुरजीत, योर आंसर इज ए. Okay, good. So answer is A only. With reference to, अच्छा आप लोग स्टडी मटेरियल में तो नहीं देख रहे हैं? पक्का प्रॉमिस? ठीक है. हाँ मजाक कर रहा हूँ. हाँ बिल्कुल. So let us see the question. With reference to the cultivation of kharif crops in India in the last 5 years, consider the following statement. Area under cultivation under rice cultivation is highest. Yes, we have already seen. So statement 1 is right. That means statement, this option B and C तो automatically eliminate हो गए, है ना? Area under the cultivation of jowar is more than that of oil seeds. This is wrong, clearly wrong. We have already seen. So we can again see. Oil seeds 20% है और ज्वार 5.3% है ना? So this statement is clearly wrong. Area of cotton cultivation is more than that of sugarcane. ये हमें पता नहीं है शायद. I think we don't have this figure, है ना? We don't have this figure. So we are not sure about the statement 3. But statement 2 is clearly wrong. So if statement 2 is clearly wrong, then option D is clearly wrong. So answer is option A. Area under sugarcane cultivation is steadily decreased. No, this is increasing. We have already seen this commercial crops. Among commercial crops, area under all the three, sugarcane, cotton and jute has increased, है ना? So this is how you can give the answer. This is the question of 2019. So even now the questions on the pattern base are being asked. Right? So you should remember all the important patterns. और आपको कुछ ज़्यादा रिसर्च करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. आपको बहुत ज़्यादा बुक पढ़ने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. जो बेसिक चीज़ें हैं यही वो हैं और ये आपको पता चल जाएंगी अगर आप कोई भी अच्छा सोर्स रेफर करते हो तो. सो आंसर इज ऑप्शन ए. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज दिस वन. प्लीज रीड दिस क्वेश्चन. दिस इज ऑल्सो 2019 क्वेश्चन. इनफैक्ट दिस क्वेश्चन आई शुड हैव गिवन लेटर ऑन. अभी आपको मैं इसका आंसर देने के लिए नहीं बोलूँगा, है ना? यू शुड गिव द आंसर आफ्टर सम टाइम बिकॉज वी कैन डिस्कस सम मोर थिंग्स एंड देन यू विल बी मच मोर कंफर्टेबल इन गिविंग द आंसर. वैसे इसका आंसर डी है, वेजिटेबल ऑयल्स है, लेकिन हम लोग देखेंगे. वी विल सी. वी आर लाइक वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन वी आर वेरी गुड इन पल्सेस, वी आर वेरी गुड इन फ्रेश फ्रूट्स, स्पाइसेस, है ना? तीनों में हम लोग अच्छे ही हैं. तो हमें इंपोर्ट करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, है ना? वेजिटेबल ऑयल्स इसमें हमें इंपोर्ट करने की ज़रूरत है क्योंकि यहाँ पर हमारी जो कंजम्पशन है दैट इज़ मोर देन द प्रोडक्शन, एंड दैट इज़ वाई वी एक्चुअली आर ट्राइंग टू इंक्रीज आवर प्रोडक्शन थ्रू GM mustard, है ना. So this question was asked in the context of GM mustard. So this GM mustard was in news in 2017 and 18, and during this time there were a lot of news in the newspapers that we are importing the oil, these oils in a huge quantity. The quantum is really very very big. In fact, this is after the coal and gold. After the coal and gold, this vegetable oils forms the next major thing is as far as the import is concerned. That is why this question was asked. Otherwise also, you also know spice. India is the spice leader. We are good in the fresh fruits and we are also good in the pulses. You will see more fact about the spices and the other areas, right? Now, coming to the green revolution. Green revolution जो है इसकी क्या ज़रूरत पड़ी? So, if you have read the economic planning, if you have listened to my lecture of economic planning, in the economic planning, in the first 5-year plan, we focused upon the agriculture sector. After that, in the second 5-year plan, under the leadership of PC Mahalanobis, we focused upon the industrial sector. Meanwhile, in the 57-58, there was a major drought. Right? The government started thinking of increasing the production and productivity, and the government introduced intensive agricultural district program in 60-61, and later on in 64 it was expanded under the name intensive agricultural area program, right? The purpose of this program was increasing both production and productivity. So absolute production as well as the per hectare productivity was supposed to be increased. And this is the technological package. Government introduced this package of things, for example, high yielding variety seeds, assured irrigation. So government gave a lot of subsidy for good quality seeds. It imported and it created the lot of high yielding variety seeds through research and development, and it gave the subsidy for the well irrigation. It allowed tube well construction, especially in the West UP, some part of like Haryana, Punjab, and in this some part of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu also. So assured irrigation was promoted, high yielding variety seeds were promoted, concessional finance was promoted, and other technological and non-technological support were also given in the form of storage, minimum support price. So a whole package was there. That package was called Green Revolution. If we see who is the father of this Green Revolution worldwide, the father is Dr. Norman E. Borlaug, who is an American person. But in India, Mr. M.S. Swaminathan introduced this revolution. This term was first time used by the William Guard. So these facts will not be asked in the UPSC, but in some other examinations you might find some of these facts being asked in the examination, right? So the purpose was to increase the production as well as the productivity both, and it was focused that those areas where already there is a huge potential of production, we should extend the technology and government support so that we can increase the production. And this was a package. As I have been telling again and again, Green Revolution is a package. It is a package of good agricultural practices supported by the technology. So what are the important characteristics? First of all, it focused on the multiple cropping. That is, 2 or more crop being harvested during the year along with continued expansion of the farming areas. So the cultivable area will be expanded and the intensity of the agriculture will also be increased. The more number of crop will be promoted in the same area. Package inputs, that is a high variety of seeds, fertilizers and pesticides in the areas where water supply is assured, right? So seeds, fertilizer were also promoted, and pesticides, fertilizer so that there is increase in the productivity, and pesticide to control the pest attacks in those areas where the water supply is assured. So your Punjab, Haryana, West UP, some part of Andhra, coastal Andhra, especially Tamil Nadu, these were the important areas where there was assured water supply, and the government supported these areas through other support. It was primarily restricted to 5 crops, which include wheat and rice. So these are the 2 major crops, wheat and rice. Apart from that, we also have maize, jowar and bajra, right? So primarily you will listen, this revolution drastically increased the production of wheat and the rice. Institutional credit was also extended. Apart from that, the government also asked the commercial bank, cooperative bank, etc. to give the loan at the concessional rate. So there was a whole support ecosystem which was built for the farmers. Now there are some limitations of the green revolution. What are those limitations? So this green revolution created some inequalities in the form of regional inequality. So as we just see, some areas which were already having assured irrigation, or which were already good in the productivity of agriculture, which were already very fertile, those areas were given the importance. The rest of the areas were lagged behind. So some areas, Haryana, Punjab, West UP, coastal Andhra, Tamil Nadu, they got lot of benefit, and other areas actually missed out, especially the eastern state, central states, all these, right? Then it created the inequality among the farmers. So those farmers whose land was of very big size, they got most of the benefit. They got the subsidy to establish the tube well, they got easily the loans. So those people who were already affluent, they got most of the benefit. So it created the inequality among the farmers also, right? Then it missed out the ecological point, because lot of tube wells were established, especially in the Punjab and Haryana, and groundwater was overutilized. There was over extraction of the groundwater. In fact, this is the scenario right now. Because of that, the quantity as well as the quality of this groundwater has been deteriorated to a great extent. Quantity, like the water level is going down, and the quality is also declining. So once the water level goes down, automatically the concentration of the other chemicals, for example uranium, that increases naturally, so which is very, very harmful for the human beings. So ecological imbalances started there. Apart from that, minimum support price was offered to these crops, especially the rice and wheat. So this created imbalance in the overall crop production. These wheat and rice, they dominate the overall food grain production, and the production of cereals, pulses, it could not extend to a great extent. So from the nutrition point of view also, this green revolution could not succeed so much. So definitely green revolution has a lot of success to it. We are not dependent on outside nations, we are self-sufficient, we don't have the problem of food grains. Even in this corona crisis, we are 100% sure that we will not let the people die of hunger. We are 100% sure. Our central state government are 100% sure we have enough amount of food grains, even this crisis, right? But nutritional imbalances, regional imbalances, crop imbalances, ecological imbalances, all these imbalances were created, and because of that, for a long time there is a theme going on, the second green revolution or evergreen revolution. So this evergreen revolution is actually trying to focus upon those areas which got missed in the first green revolution. So according to MS Swaminathan, it is the pathway of increasing production and productivity, right? सो प्रोडक्शन और प्रोडक्टिविटी इंक्रीज करने की बात तो हमने फर्स्ट ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन में भी की थी, है ना. But here the focus is that in the short term and the long term goal of food grains of food production are not mutually antagonistic, right? So in the short term we are increasing the production, but for the long term we are damaging the ecology, which ultimately will be harmful for our upcoming generation. So in the evergreen revolution we are trying to make it more sustainable. We are talking about the sustainable agriculture, climate smart agriculture. Now what are the objectives of second green revolution? First, improving the agriculture production while generating self-employment for the small farmers and the weaker section of the society. So not only the big farmer but also the small farmer will get the benefit. So it will reduce the inter-farmer inequalities. Scaling up food production without disturbing the ecological balance. So we will focus upon organic farming, zero-based natural farming, etc. Right? Boosting women empowerment. So the contribution of women is really very high in the crop production, and there is a term called feminization of agriculture. That means in the agriculture sector the number of women who are contributing is increasing. Why is that? Because especially after the green revolution, so one of the major contribution of green revolution is that it created the agricultural surplus. What is the meaning of that? It means before the green revolution we were restricted to sustainable cultivation or sustaining like sustenance farming, that we will cultivate, we will produce that much commodity through which we can serve our own family. जितना अपनी फैमिली को चाहिए उतना ही हम प्रोड्यूस करेंगे. After this green revolution, due to huge increase in the production of food grains, the surplus got generated. This surplus was sold to outside people, to the government. So the farmers started generating income, as well as to harvest, to cultivate, to take care of all these operations. The requirement of hired labor, commercial labor started. So commercial labor started migrating from those areas where green revolution was not successful, है ना. So you can see, suppose for example this is the area of Bihar where the green revolution could not make much of the impact, and this is the West UP where the green revolution succeeded to a very high level. So in the West UP there is surplus production, and for this production they need the laborers. So these laborers will come from where? These laborers will come from the Bihar, because in the Bihar green revolution has not succeeded. So these agricultural laborers, they will migrate to the West UP and they will work over here. Now these agricultural laborers, they also have their own land. So who will take care of their land? So their land will be taken care of by the women, right? So this is called, because of this, the role of women in the agriculture has drastically increased, especially in those areas where green revolution was not that much successful, right? So this is called feminization of agriculture. On the one hand, this is good because this is providing the ownership of the, not ownership but at least control of economy in the hand of women. But under the patriarchal laws, these women do not have the ownership right of the land. So because they do not have the ownership right, they do not get the benefit of many government schemes. So most of the government schemes are linked to the ownership, and these women do not have the ownership. So they are dependent on dependent for documentation work on their husband who are not located in their own area. So because of that, there are a lot of problems which happen, and those agricultural fields which are cultivated by women, they do not get proper government scheme benefits, right? So these are the problems. The government is trying to resolve this problem through many areas, right? So Coming back to the evergreen or second revolution, here the focus will also be upon boosting the women empowerment, facilitating that those agriculture fields which are occupied by women, they also get the benefit. Reclaiming degraded and low fertile land and land deprived of irrigation, right? So we will also work upon improving the status of existing agricultural land so that the cultivable area can also be increased. So this is the Niti Aayog's 3-year roadmap for the evergreen revolution. Normally, I take the help of Niti Aayog in the mains. In the mains, you will find all my lectures have Niti Aayog, economic survey, budget, other government document. I am primarily focusing upon there. But here, I picked up this thing because I found some important things for the prelims, है ना? तो normally जो नीति आयोग के strategy paper है आपका 3-year एजेंडा है, वो मेंस के लिए काम आता है, लेकिन प्रीलिम्स में भी कुछ फैक्ट्स है जो हम यूज कर सकते हैं. सो दिस नीति आयोग हैज गिवन 3-year रोड मैप फॉर द एवरग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन. सो दिस 3-year रोड मैप एक्चुअली फोकसेस अपॉन फर्स्ट दैट वी शुड इंक्रीज द increase the production of pulses, and then we should use the wasteland through Pradhan Mantri Kisan Krishi Sinchai Yojana, seed village program, and model contract farming, right? So these are the 4 tools which have been suggested by the Niti Aayog for improving the evergreen revolution in India. Now there is one more scheme, bringing green revolution in the eastern India, है ना? So as I told you that in the first green revolution, the East India could not succeed. East India did not get much of the benefit of the first green revolution. Therefore, a separate focus on the eastern India is being made through this bringing green revolution in the eastern India. Here the focus is upon 7 states which have very good productivity, very good availability of water, right? But their still the production is not that much good, है ना? उनकी जो fertility है वो बहुत अच्छी है, लेकिन overall ultimate productivity is not that much good because of some issues. So now we will try to focus upon these areas, and these are 7 states which include Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, West Bengal, East UP. So again, just have a look over these states. Take few seconds and have a look on the list of these states. So they include Assam. From the northeast we have only one state. फिर बिहार है, और बिहार का छोटा भाई है झारखंड, ठीक है, और बिहार का ही कजिन है वेस्ट बंगाल, है ना? उसके बाद हमारा है छत्तीसगढ़, ठीक है, एमपी नहीं है यहां पर, मध्य प्रदेश नहीं है, छत्तीसगढ़ है, ओडिशा भी है, और आपका ईस्ट यूपी भी है ना? तो एमपी क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि एमपी ईस्ट इंडिया में नहीं आता.